Welcome back to episode 18 of Chambers Chatter. I'm Laura Chambers Babalis.
And I'm Shae Chambers Helms. Today we're switching it up a little bit. Laura and I are actually going to be chatting about why we chose Beaufort to be our home, our growth and how we grew up here and what it means to us.
Yeah, so it's very interesting being on this side.
I know.
It's going to be fun though. I feel like we should start off with why we're doing this. I feel like you have a really strong why. I think you should share that.
Beaufort has a soul. I mean, like it truly, like people who move here, they feel it. It's the history, it's the people. There is something really special about our people and the connections. And I know what I didn't know as a child that I wish I knew now, especially with our grandfather and the amount of history and stories that he has, is I didn't get those. And so I wanted to hear these stories that thankfully we're getting to hear that I didn't know to ask back then. So I just really wanted those stories.
Yeah, I feel like all the other 17 episodes that we've done, then everyone has come back to how strong the connections were in their childhood with each other. So I do think that Beaufort really speaks to that. And I feel like it's lost a little bit, but I do feel like we're trying to bring that community back together.
Yeah, it's the soul, it's the connection and the love and just the passion down at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So you were living in Europe. What made you choose to come back to Beaufort?
Well, obviously I was really far away, so it wasn't a quick trip home anymore. And I had decided at some point, like watching you raise your kids around mom and dad, that I wanted that same experience for my family. And that was obviously not possible living in Europe. So I made the decision that if I want to have a family, I want to tie my roots back to Beaufort and start it here. That was the most important thing to me at that time. And yeah, it's kind of funny though, because I graduated college at University of South Carolina and I was like, I'm never moving back to Beaufort. I'm not going to go there, never again. I mean, sure enough, I went to Seattle and then to Europe. So I did go quite as far away as possible. But I think if I had never done that, I wouldn't have realized how important it was for me to be back here. And I probably would have had some resentment in there. What about you though? Because you lived in New Orleans for a while. You started a family elsewhere.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how hard that was?
Yeah. So Jason obviously was in the Coast Guard, and we had our first two kids in New Orleans, and our next station was supposed to be, I think it was like right below Miami. And I was like, Jason, I think we got to go raise family with family. And he completely agreed. He was like, you're right. It's important. And so we chose not to continue in the service and to come home and be with family.
Yeah. I feel like you have to tell everyone how long you and Jason have been together too, because Jason's like, I think I've known Jason more than I have not in my life. Like I remember him when I was like 8 years old. So
yeah, Jason and I have been on and off since I think I was 14. Yeah.
Yeah. So that made me, yeah.
Yeah. You would have been what?
6?
Yeah. No, what's 14? Minus 6. 8.
Okay, 8. Math's hard. So yeah, that's so crazy to think about. Do you think that, because Jason was gone for how many years? Like how he missed home too, I'm sure.
Yeah, he went in right kind of during college years, so right around 20. So, and he did about 10 years. And he was in California and in Boston, and then went to New Orleans, which is where I went and met him. So yeah. He was ready to come home, and he loves this place just as much as I do.
When y'all lived in New Orleans, did y'all think that you were eventually going to make it back, or you kind of didn't know at that point?
It's funny how much kids shift your perspective on things. And obviously we weren't thinking we were going to have kids. We were still very young at the time, but that changed and put a whole new perspective on things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about growing up in Beaufort. So what were some of your favorite things to do? We've heard from so many other people what their favorite things were.
It's funny because everyone talks about the Shake Shack, and I'm like, our equivalent to that was Sonic. Which is so true, because we actually did spend time in Sonic drive-thru.
When we had Jody,
that was like a meetup spot.
Yeah, when we just had Jody, it's all I was thinking about. I was like, we went to Sonic probably 4 times a night, just like the Shack, but that doesn't even compare.
I know. It is, yeah. But I mean, obviously so much time on the water, so much time in the boat. The the sandbars, the beaches.
Mm-hmm.
So much fun.
I feel like you and I kind of, I mean, we grew up the same, obviously, but technology was around when I was around growing up. So I feel like there's a big difference even between you and I.
So thankful that social media was not a thing during my high school. So bad for my kids, but yes, thank goodness.
Yeah, because it was just starting when I was in high school. So I can't imagine that.
Laura, what are some of the memories that stand out to you growing up here?
Well, I had a little bit different of a childhood since I rode horses from basically time I was 6 to, I don't know, 16, 17. So about 90% of my childhood memories revolve around horses and being in a barn, which isn't really, much related to Beaufort. But once I got to high school, I kind of started doing more normal things, and just being out in the boat, being out in the river, those really stood out. And then our other sister, Anne, her and I were super close at a young age too. So I have a lot of memories with her, of course, which is really fun. And those that don't know, Shae and I are actually 6 years apart. So there's quite an age gap between us, which has been fun.
Yeah.
I feel like we didn't really get close until I moved back to Beaufort.
Correct.
Like 6 or 7 years ago. So it's been fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was probably when I came to visit you in Germany.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the beginning of like getting really close.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was super fun.
So you started Chambers Helms Group when?
Gosh, yeah. So you came to me actually and you're like, Shae, what do you think? What do you think about me starting in real estate? And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I remember just being like wide-eyed and I'm like, okay, wait, we can do this. We can figure something out. We can do this.
I remember it completely differently. I remember I think it was 2021. I was doing interior design at the time, and you came to me and suggested that I got my real estate license because obviously 2021 was when the market was going crazy, and I think you just needed, I don't know if you needed help or just like, hey, Laura, it's a great time to get into real estate. But it's so funny that we have two.
Well, and I'm probably thinking back on that now as you say all of this. I mean, I saw you in creative design and I just knew how good you were with people and how good you'd be in this. So, yeah.
And you had been in it, 6 years prior to that already?
Yeah. Yeah, because I went back and got my license when Reed was 6 weeks old.
Yeah.
I was re-getting my licensing. Yeah, that was wild to start the career. So that was 2017.
Yeah, watching how successful you were, I was like, it's amazing. I have a great teacher to learn from. So definitely wanted to give it a shot because you clearly were very good at what you do.
Oh, thank you. It's been fun. It's been really fun. We've grown tremendously too. And it's been, I think, even more fun starting this podcast series. Yes. And I don't know, I'm sure you probably feel the same way, but it's like the more we touch people and they feel this home in Beaufort, like this home that you want to capture all these stories and you want to just get to the soul and the heart of it all. And I feel like that's what we're trying to accomplish within Chambers Chatter.
Yeah. And it's fun too, because I have some clients that are not from Beaufort. They just moved to Beaufort for the first time and they subscribe to our show and like, this is so beautiful, hearing all these stories of Beaufort, and they don't know these people. Yeah. And it's just really cool that they feel even a connection to Chambers Chatter, not even growing up here, knowing the people at all.
Yeah, there's so much heart and soul and history within Beaufort. Beaufort's obviously the second oldest town in South Carolina, and we're so lucky because we have so many generations of family here. And the more that we hear these things, the more we want to hear even more just because we're so interconnected through it all. And I think our dad I asked him one time to count how many generations we were. And on the top of his head, he counted 7. And I was like, that's good. We're good. We don't need to go anymore. And we've never actually looked it up to see truly how many roots we have. But we know that we have a lot, which is really cool.
And I'm sure on mom's side, it probably goes even farther back, being a Pinckney. So those are some deep roots.
Deep roots, yeah, because my son Reed just did a little family, he did a little homework session and wrote about Charles Coatsworth Pinckney and did a little report on him and how he signed the the Constitution. So very cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did he realize that that was family when he did it or not?
Yeah, that was how we brought that up, and it
Oh.
was fun. Yeah. So, gosh, who knows how many generations back that is, which is really fun.
Yeah. And I think to touch back on what you were saying earlier about Granddaddy, it is really cool to now be learning all the stuff that he has contributed to this town too. Because I didn't know most of the stuff until we had a lot of these speakers on here and at his memorial and stuff. So he's really done some incredible things to this community.
Truly. And things that I'm sure we still don't even know about. Again, talking about Granddaddy and everything that he's done, that's the other big important part of all of this is getting the community re-involved back into the community, because that's one of the biggest things we keep hearing over and over is the connection, is the commitment to our community, is the commitment to making this place such a great place to live. What are your thoughts on that?
That's definitely something that I've loved asking our guests is how can the younger generation get involved? Because I do feel like there's a hard stop. It's mainly just the older generation that's really heavily involved in our community right now. Obviously, there's some exceptions to that. And it's kind of sad that we're not as involved as that generation once was. So I think it's really important. And I think you and I both do a good job of trying to be actively involved in the community. But I think it's really important for people to know what's going on, to get in the whereabouts. And I feel like most people get lost in it because there's so many different ways and avenues. It's like, how do I start and where do I start? And I think that's been something that I've been trying to get out of these speakers that we've been having is how can we help people figure out what direction they want to go?
Yeah, find their niche and find, because there's so many causes, so many little things that are also interconnected to make this place so great.
Yeah. What do you feel? I mean, do you have any major things that you want to contribute towards or any goals?
I think one of the big goals that I think both you and I see through this series specifically is helping people just find connections, especially as social media has grown and YouTube has grown, finding those easier ways to get in touch with people, to hear the stories, which automatically makes people feel more connected to each other, and finding those small slivers where people can start contributing back to the community. Obviously, you have a child on the way and I have young children, and so time is limited right now. And so the hope is the future of what we can do, I'm sure, is vast, but we're hoping this series does a lot. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have to agree with you. Obviously, I've had a little bit more time on my hands than you have the past few years. This podcast and paving the way for people is one thing, but I also do the Lowcountry Young Professionals to help start that. But it kind of goes hand in hand with what you just said. The whole point of that was to try to help younger people make connections and get involved in the community. So while they're very vastly two different things, they kind of are essentially the same goal in mind, trying to get people involved in the community. So I think that's really important. But I am really excited to see where this podcast goes because we've had such positive feedback from it. And I feel like we can take it a long way.
And it's been so fun for our mom and our aunts to be here and kind of relive all those childhood memories and see those connections, because most of these people that they've grown up with. So that's been really fun. And it's been really fun. Well, and also very heartfelt, like Claude, who just unfortunately passed away, but that we were able to have that connection with him beforehand, and people like Beak Webb, who we wanted to have, and people like Richard Gray, and these people that we wish we could have gotten on camera before they passed away. This is such a special capsule.
Yeah, I'm so glad that we were able to capture Claude. So many people watched that video afterwards and, really treasured it. So it was a special memory for a lot of people, especially their family. And I think that's why it's so important that we're doing this. And, we hope to continue to share everyone's stories. And I think something that I really want to start capturing too is having people, which we already do, but I would love to get social media involved in this a little bit more and have people come to us saying, oh, you should interview so-and-so, you should interview so-and-so. And we do get that on the side a lot, but I would love to see it, getting involved in social media. So definitely, tune into our YouTube channel and Facebook and Instagram.
There's so many voices that we would love to capture. So please help us capture those voices. We would love, love, love to do that.